welcome back to my channel. I'm Kayla. We have a pretty quick video today engraving some custom flasks for a golf course in Arizona. I was asked to engrave 12 of these and I actually have one already done to show you guys. I wanted to get one done just to make sure I liked my settings that I had and that I had it all just like set up and ready to go for the remaining 11. So I do have this one done and it turned out great. So I'm gonna show you in Lightburn my settings and how I just drag and drop in the image, what I use, and then we will go over to my Thunderbolt and engrave them and clean them up and see the final product. So let's get into the video. So here we have a fresh page in Lightburn and I'm actually gonna show you guys the logo that we're working with beforehand. See if I can make it, there we go. If we zoom in, this is a very, very pixelated, very bad logo. This unfortunately is all my customer had. And honestly, it might even just be a screenshot from their website. I'm not sure. So when a customer comes to me with a logo like that, what I do is I go over here to Fiverr, and I've always used this person right here. They were just one of the first people that I found when going to Fiverr, whatever it's called. And I have gotten so many logos converted from this person. I get them in a high quality PNG, I get them in an SVG, and I get, actually I'll show you right here, I get several different file types and they just end up so much better. So yeah, I mean, it's $5 after the service fee and everything. It ends up being like $8 and some change. So of course I pass that along to my customer. Always have your customer pay for any sort of conversion or designing or anything that you have to do. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the SVG and I'm just going to drag and drop it over here into Lightburn. And you can see there are different colors, there are different things that I can select. Now, my customer actually wants the logo part, the image, on top of the text. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that. And I'm actually going to highlight all of this and just make sure it's grouped, especially all of these real tiny dots, because I want to center these. And if I go to center, all of these are going to like lay on top of each other. And that is not what I want. And I actually see an edit that I need to make right here. So I'm going to zoom in right here. And if I click, you can see these little dancing ant lines on the whole thing. So I need to ungroup this. So on my keyboard, I'm just going to hit Control U, and then you can see now just this is highlighted. So I'm going to hit Control U again to ungroup, and I'm simply just going to move these over and make sure that they are lined up. This is just a very quick edit just to make sure, you know, nothing's overlapping, that everything's going to look good once you engrave. So that's perfect. Nothing is touching there now. Sometimes that happens. You can always request an edit on Fiverr if you're not happy with how it turns out. That one is just a real quick edit that I could do, so I'm really not worried about it. So I'm going to highlight everything and I'm going to make it all one color. And then I'm going to go up here to my mode and I'm going to change it from line to fill. And so as you can see, if I go up here to the little computer, this is what will engrave. So we're going to hit OK. And now we're going to adjust our settings. I've done flasks before and I remember wishing that I would have done like a slower speed to get a cleaner engrave. So what we're going to do this time is we're going to do 200 for our speed, and for our power, we're going to go high power. Okay, so slow speed, high power to get a really good engrave. And then I'm going to turn my air assist off because we're engraving, and then my lines per inch are going to be 300. And then I'm going to hit OK. And now we need to resize it. So I'm going to again highlight everything. Now the width that I want this on my flasks is 2.5 inches. I'm going to leave it locked so that it resizes proportionally, and that is perfect. And we are good to go. I have my origin point. Actually, yes, let me change that. I'm going to change my origin point to the top center. Now, this is where I'm going to center my red dot laser on the flask. So if I have, let's say, actually that's kind of square, huh? Our flasks are kind of rectangle. Okay, so let's say that this rectangle is our flask. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to center it. Whoops, that's what happens. I didn't group everything. Let me group this back together. Okay, so now if we center everything, you can see, so this origin point is where the red dot laser is going to start on your engraving. So if I set it to the center, I can center it on the flask. If I were to move it over here, it would start on the top left of the flask. You can, I mean, this is really up to you wherever you feel comfortable starting. I'm going to start right here in the top middle. So when I line up the bottom of my flask with the edge of my honeycomb tray, I know exactly where it's going to start in the middle. I'm going to center it and then it'll trace, and I'll be able to see that it's even on each side. And, you know, you could take a tape measure and measure it if you want, but I am going to have my origin point right here on the center. Usually when I'm doing wooden stuff, I'll do like the top left. But for this, because I'm centering it on a specific item, I'm going to have it in the top center. So like I said, whichever you prefer, whatever's easier for you. So let me get rid of this square before I forget, and we're going to send it over to our laser. And actually my laser's not on right now, so that's going to do that. I don't have it on when I voice record because it gets so loud. So I'm going to turn my laser on and then send this over, and we're going to start engraving. You can see here I am using the red dot to center onto my flask. This is where we had our origin point set to the very top center of our logo. So I know that if I center that on the flask, it is going to be the absolute center of the logo, and I can trace off of this origin point and know that it is exactly where I want it to engrave on the flask. I might get a lot of heat for this from you pro laser engravers out there, but no, I am not using a jig for this. I am not going to be doing more than one at a time. I have found that by simply using 2 pieces of masking tape and knowing exactly where to put my flask helps me get this done a lot faster. Sometimes when you engrave multiple things at a time, it takes like a half an hour. This one, I can just real quickly do them in like 46 seconds, and all it takes is me swapping them in and out. I have not figured out jigs and getting the correct spacing, so that's just not something that I have done yet. So this is what works for me right now, and I just line it up and go. Here you can see the char that's left behind after the engraving. We just take an alcohol wipe and wipe it up, and you can see the perfect silver underneath. So here they are all finished. It was kind of hard to get all 12 of them in one shot. I just have to clean up the little bit of residue from the alcohol wipes, but that's just real easy. But yeah, I think they turned out absolutely great. They're all uniform thanks to that tape that I used as my guide on where to place them. This one had a chip on it out of the box, but I talked to my customer and they said that's totally fine. These are being given away as like a raffle prize or something, so they were totally fine with that. But yeah, I think they engraved absolutely perfect. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching these engrave out. Like I said, I think they turned out absolutely perfect. I've already shown you guys a close-up. But yeah, once you clean up all of that char and can really see the engraving underneath, it is awesome. I've done other flasks from Amazon, like multicolor ones. I think I have a short, it might be on my Instagram. I'm not sure if it's on YouTube or Instagram, but I have a short doing like multicolor ones, and they turned out really, really cool. So yeah, these make great gifts, great promos for customers, different things like that. I know these sell like hotcakes on Etsy for like groomsmen gifts or Father's Day, things like that. So this just gives you an idea. You know, it definitely doesn't have to be a business. It could be a more personalized item. So yeah, so if you are looking for something cool to sell, I would definitely look into something like this. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.